Talked about this a week or so ago here on the show, but Taco Bell, one of the big fast food chains out there, has introduced a redesigned drive-thru. It's a 2-story location up in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. They're calling it Taco Bell Defy. So customers can roll up to this drive-thru, find themselves face-to-face with video technology and also a food elevator rather than having to interact with employees on a headset. So something newer that Taco Bell is trying, and we've seen some of this at other fast food restaurants, but this is quite interesting. So to tell us about this concept and will this work, we have on the phone Sarah Buxbaum, a customer service expert. Sarah, it's very interesting. I've read into this a little bit as to what Taco Bell is offering at this location, but basically it's trying to limit an interaction with a Taco Bell employee. I mean, there's really no interaction. So is this type of service something that Taco Bell can be successful with, and can this work?
I mean, anyone who knows me knows that I love that personal connection. I think all businesses' backbone are their employees who are on the ground with the people. So I think this is an interesting fad that here's the thing. I think it could work in certain areas, but what happens now when the order is wrong and you're pushing the button a million times, yelling at the robot that your taco was made wrong and you can't get anyone to help you fix it? So my concern is the customer service aspect of it. I mean, if it all goes great and the machines or whoever's making the people who are making the food, if they don't mess anything up, then this could be a really cool, innovative idea. But based on what we've seen over the last few years, especially with businesses trying to cut costs, I would be surprised if this goes as seamless as they're hoping.
I'm a little surprised. I mean, I've had Taco Bell in my life, but I'm kind of surprised that it's Taco Bell that is introducing something like this first. And I've seen pictures of it. I mean, it looks like a huge restaurant. It's 2 stories. And part of the reason it's 2 stories is when you drive through one of the lanes, it's like a little conveyor belt, or I should say an elevator. I mean, you think about when you go to a bank ATM, that's how they're delivering you your food because you're not interacting with a human. But are you surprised at all that this is Taco Bell introducing this first and not like a huge McDonald's or something like a Burger King?
I am. But that being said, Taco Bell, you don't really hear a lot of complaints about their customer service. So, like, I would be shocked if, like, Chick-fil-A did this. I'd be like, wait, what? You talk about, greeting your customers with smiles, so that would surprise me. The fact that it's Taco Bell doesn't really surprise me. The design surprised me for a Taco Bell. It's gorgeous. The picture is it's crazy for a Taco Bell. So, I don't know. I mean, I want it to work mostly just as a business owner and being in hospitality and knowing how much money this is going to cost them. I hope that they can streamline it and make it work, and maybe it will cater to a certain crowd. But to me, I look at it just because, I'm on the radio, on social media every day talking about people are so frustrated they can't get a hold of a person. So the timing is more interesting, I think, than anything else, because businesses are already struggling with not enough people to fix all the problems that are coming up with, labor shortages, and they're out of meat or they're out of onions or whatever. And so now we're removing the people altogether. And so in my mind, I see a backup at the drive-thru line. There's cars everywhere. Everyone's yelling at each other. But that's because, I'm a little biased because this is what I talk about is customer service all the time. It's an interesting, it's 2022. I guess all things go at this point. So let's try it and see. Maybe it's a good concept, and maybe McDonald's will do it next.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you see Taco Bell succeed with this, you're going to probably see them introduce more of these locations around the country and probably other fast food places as well. We're on the phone this morning with Sarah Buxbaum, a customer service expert, talking about this new concept that Taco Bell has introduced. They're calling it Taco Bell Defy. It's a new 2-story location offering a couple different drive-through lanes. It's up in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, and basically it limits or avoids any interaction with employees. You order, it's all video technology, and even the food is delivered via an elevator, and you don't interact with a person. You talked about maybe certain locations where this could be successful. I mean, Brooklyn Park is a pretty big suburb of Minneapolis, over 80,000 people living there. Do you see if this goes well, maybe this being implemented in bigger cities like that? Or could you even see places like Chicago, New York, L.A.? Would those work there in your mind?
I mean, I think so, but I was leaning more towards like college campuses. So if this worked, put it next to, the high schools or colleges where hundreds of people who are young, who are not going to get frustrated with technology, because that's the whole other thing is a lot of people, and I mean, I'm only 33, but I think I'm a little old school. I like, I don't like all the technology. When restaurants started inputting iPads to order, I didn't really like that. But I think the millennials, the Gen Z, the people who, have an hour lunch break and they go to Taco Bell anyway and they're with their friends, they don't care maybe if it takes an extra 2 minutes or, the cheese is not the perfect way or whatever. I think college campuses, high schools, when I was in high school, I don't know about you, there was a Taco Bell right there. We went there every day for lunch. And so I would say that versus, a busy part of downtown LA where it's just, there's so many people. So, but yeah, something like this next to a college campus or a younger crowd, I think is going to be their best bet.
Yeah, and here in Bloomington Normal, we have multiple colleges. Our biggest one, Illinois State University, with over 25,000 students. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll start to see this here in our community. And one last thing I wanted to ask you, I believe at this location, too, with what Taco Bell is doing, from what I read is that there's no indoor ordering. Now, I don't know if that was just in the initial launch phase, but let's say this place, the whole point of it is to implement these drive-through lanes that are supposed to be painless, easy, get your food in and out, and they don't want people coming inside. Do you see that being a problem? Because like you said, if your food's not right, you can't pull back and try to go inside to get it. So I could see that being a huge issue.
That's exactly my concern. I was just at a hotel and the lobby was closed and they said, it's due to COVID. And so we had to go to the window. It was a nightmare because you couldn't go in. So you're standing outside, it's hot, or maybe it's going to be raining, and you're trying to get help. Look at Starbucks. When Starbucks implemented the drive-thrus, some locations, it's seamless. Others, I'd rather just walk in the store. It's going to be 10 times faster. And I know a lot of Starbucks locations still, their lobby is closed, and they're suffering because of that. So I get what they're trying to do and just streamline and get rid of people altogether. But what is their, and I guess maybe I haven't seen it yet, but what is their plan to take care of their customers when something goes wrong? Because it's inevitable. That's in every business. And if you don't have that plan, then you'll fail anyway. So maybe the answer isn't a lobby for them to come into, but maybe there's like a second part of the building where if you have an issue, you pull to the other drive-through but I mean, we all know that your drive-through order is almost never right. I mean, maybe it's just me, but it's 9 times out of 10, it's not a big deal and you just keep moving on. But, if you're paying, especially now with the price of food, you're paying a lot of money for that bean and cheese burrito. So I hope they can get it right. Yeah,
and you want it to be right. It definitely, to me, seems like these bigger fast food chains and bigger companies are doing this because it is going to, most likely eliminate some positions that they need within those restaurants, and they're trying to save money, which is a bit unfortunate, but I get it because everybody's dealing with what we're dealing with right now. So it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see if this works out at this location up in Minnesota, and if they start to implement them in other places, and if other big fast food chains see Taco Bell doing this, and if it works, I would think we're going to start seeing a lot more popping up around the country. Sarah, I appreciate you coming on. How can people find more about some of your work and find more information about you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. My website is Celebrate with Sarah. I've been in hospitality and customer service for about 18 years, and I love talking about it, and I love just spreading that message of treating these employees better, and just let's be better as people and be a little more patient in these crazy times. And let's talk again, and let's see how this goes when they open it up.
Definitely will. Yeah, we'll have to get an update. Sarah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.